And we're back. And we have the coolest moment of the show to dive into. And I have decided to give the honor of uttering the immortal phrase to the wonderful John here, because he did it off camera and it was amazing.
It's pretty good.
So, John.
He will never make it as good again.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Take it away.
Time for Indie of the Week.
Ooh,
oh, God, that was
that's good.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
That little earworm.
Yeah. So this week, I have chosen the indie, and I've decided to go particularly sort of weird and Oldhammer with Creative Sculpt Studio. So let's have a peek at this. So Creative Sculpt Studio, can you see this? Can you see the show? Right, yes. It's just because Jerry does all this, right? So anyway, this is Creative Sculpt Studio, which is run by a dude called Paul.
One-man band?
A one-man band. I don't know his last name, but Paul is an amazing name anyway. And the idea is that Paul has been sculpting miniatures for many, many, many years and does them for a range of different companies, but also for himself. So he's a sculptor for hire, but also does all his own stuff as well, based around the Dark Hollow Miniatures collection, as you can see just at the top there. So this collection is broken down into a whole range of different elements. There's lots of stuff in here for role players, but there's also stuff in here for people who are really into like Oldhammer stuff and that kind of vibe as well. So I'm going to start off with one that I think would be very good for a lot of role-playing gamers, and that is this Dark Hollow Adventurers Party, as you can see here. So
everyone needs a pony. Everybody needs a pony.
Yeah. Every adventuring party needs a pony.
I mean, you need something to carry away all the stuff you've stole off the dead bodies.
All the loot. Yeah. But in this, obviously, you've got your sort of standard stuff. So you've got your kind of wizard leading the party and sort of going off into strange dungeons, leading halflings to their doom.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the sort of ranger rogue style character there that could be an elf, could be a human if you wanted to, maybe even like a drow as well. All very nice too. And then you've got your classics here. So you've got kind of like your heavily armored knight or a paladin perhaps as well. A little tiny sneaky halfling rogue. Thought was really nice. A sort of a dwarf cleric. That tends to be the one that everyone goes to sort of archetypally when it comes to D&D. And then your fantastic female fantasy barbarian as well, which I think is pretty cool.
I really like how the poses aren't just static, aren't they just in one place? They're all in different movements as well, especially the last one and the wizard at the front. They're very different looking.
The rogue does have one of my big bugbears.
Go on.
Not the rogue, sorry, the archer.
Oh, yeah.
Top right.
Yeah. It's drawn back, but there's no arrow.
You can put an arrow in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of my bugbears on miniatures whenever you see it.
Sculpt an arrow. It's not a big deal, Justin. Just do it.
Some bow rigging.
It's just a bugbear I have.
But no, it's a nice little set, I think, for people who are starting out. And you can also see initially, this is especially why I was drawn to this, is that all of this stuff is sort of traditionally hand sculpted. So you've got the old school greens that you'd normally see in sort of
the 3-ups.
Yeah, and those kind of 3-ups and that kind of stuff. So it's really nice stuff here, sort of like to get you started with things. And pretty cheap as well. When you think about it, it's quite nice. So yeah,
quite good stuff, man.
Yeah. So you've got your nice little adventuring party there. I'm going to make everybody sick.
Yeah.
But then too much power for one Ben to have.
I know. This is what happens when Ben's in charge.
I'll make you ill watching the Weekender. But another one of the sets that I've written. So Dark Hollow Dwellers is kind of like the main way that this sort of comes together. And this shows off all the like really weird and wonderful stuff that Paul has been working on. So if you see anything in particular that you want me to talk about or show off.
Can you look at those minions there, Ben?
This one?
The third one. There's a moon with legs.
The third one, the minions. What? Yes, I see. Right, here we go. Haha. I know what I'm doing. I can navigate this.
Top right just looks like Plank from Ed, and Eddie has had a bit of a hard time. He's retired. He's gone to the Wizard's Castle now.
Oh, it's a little fishy.
Catfish!
Yeah.
That's almost a catfish. He just trolls everybody on the internet online. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Oh, the moon with legs is great. You can imagine he just looks like he just doesn't want to do his job. He lives in a wizard's castle when you're telling him, oh, for God's sake, where you got to go? Sun's going down. Sorry.
This reminds me of a game I wanted to make where it would be wizards arguing about which minion was the best. And then each player is essentially the wizard sending out his preferred type of miniatures.
Yeah, these all belong in it. a wizard's castle, don't they?
Yeah. So Pokemon with wizards.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine the guy in the bottom right? He's always carrying something. Don't know what it is. You don't know. He's just always got something in his face.
Master, I found the scrolls you were looking for. Please don't hit me.
You can definitely see like where the influence of sort of old school Warhammer's coming for these, because these are all the kind of familiars that you would have seen if you were diving into sort of classic chaos armies from back in the day in Warhammer. These are all the sort of things that will pop up in kind of like the margins of a Mordheim book, for example, as well. I mean, you could imagine that sort of hopping around the streets of Mordheim, delivering warpstone to people as you were sort of pottering about. But, yeah.
See, I imagine that one's one that just annoyed the wizard, and it's just went, you will be a small walking cauldron now. You are now my chamber pot.
Yeah, this guy, can I sell you some mushrooms? This guy in the top right, this is where he's going. Yeah.
This one's also, I like this one because this one's got like a little bit more of a sci-fi vibe.
That is very sci-fi-like, yeah.
It's either like a little tiny sort of wooden automaton, or it's something that kind of like it's the servitor, like a little tiny servitor style creature.
Depends how you paint it.
I feel like it needs a wind-up key in its back.
Yes.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah. And then you got this guy who's carrying the wizard's staff, obviously.
Yeah.
He's been relegated. Or a paintbrush. Oh my God, that'd be lovely.
That's great.
Yeah. You need to buy that.
A baby Thulu.
Baby Thulu, yeah.
He just plays fetch. He just plays fetch.
A cute Thulu, maybe.
The eyes just do a lot, don't they? You just see the little sparkly eye and it suddenly becomes adorable.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to see Rick Sanchez.
This needs to be the prize for like a painting competition or something.
Definitely.
Everybody gets one of those, like painted in gold, silver, and bronze.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, if you ever wanted to do a painting challenge, everybody paints the same mini.
Yeah. But like, for example, so that's obviously sort of breaking down little individual sets and minutes and stuff. I'm just going to bring up some of these because there's some amazing stuff. And this is fairly exhaustive when it comes to kind of like traditional D&D style monsters.
That hobgoblin.
The hobgoblin. I'll open the hobgoblin as well. Let's look at that first for you, Justin.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Cool that
is. Yeah.
You like it?
Big zoomy in picture.
That's great.
I love the sort of old school red skull on the shield as well. I think that's really nice.
It's very like, the PS1 game Medieval.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're having given another chance to be the hero instead of being shot in the eye.
They're great.
So this is actually an important thing to mention as well. So a lot of the miniatures are done in metal, but they also do resins and that kind of thing too,
okay.
Which is quite nice. But so it's a lot of sort of more traditional materials than you would have thought, which is quite good.
I love it.
And again, you get that really nice sort of you get that really nice kind of like hand sculpted feel to all of this stuff, which I think is really good. Like you could that feels like it's been made by the fingers and thumbs of somebody at a table somewhere, which I think is really cool. And it means that you get all this kind of character built into the faces and the expressions and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think a little bit more maybe than the CAD stuff that we see nowadays. Not to, diminish anyone who sculpts in digital mediums and that kind of thing. But I think there's something quite nice about the sort of more traditional
natural looking
material.
Yeah.
You and me have had this debate before, Ben. I prefer CAD, you prefer hand sculpt.
I know. What about you, John? What do you prefer? Do you like the digital stuff or do you like the old school?
It could be either to me, because as long as the miniature just catches my eye, it doesn't matter how it's designed.
Yeah. Oh man, he's just saying, "Hey guys."
He does. He looks harmless, doesn't he?
Yeah. I've always wanted to role play a bugbear in a D&D game and just be like this massive misunderstood monster.
That's what I love about Minotaurs.
All I want to do is make some friends.
I've also got this one as well. A massive eye tyrant or sort of beholder, old school looking there as well.
Yeah, amazing, definitely.
But let's see what of it. Oh yes, this one's amazing. So it's just like so in D&D they have Amber Hulks, I think they're called, or Umber Hulks, and this is kind of like a take on that. So it's like a big, huge chitinous beast with big claws and fangs and things like that. So they've really dived into the idea of like making all the kind of weird D&D monsters that were almost sketched by Gygax and his friends in the old sort of D&D manuals and that kind of thing. So it was a really nice little touch.
I was going to say it's literally a bugbear.
Yes. I see what you did there. We'll look at the dragon in a second because I just want to go back to these because here's a few more of those minions for you free.
I think these are great. These are fantastic. I could probably come up with a story with all of these in a wizard's tower. You know, they're very easy to just go with all the eyes on it. Oh, that's the cutest little spider.
I'm arachnophobic. I do not want it. Get it away from me.
I'm just going to make this big. Can we blow this up for Justin and stick it on his wall?
He just looks like he's trying to sell you insurance.
Although the worst tooth fairy ever.
Yeah. 2-year warranty on your car insurance.
Oh God, I'm just starting to hear go compare.
That's
the bottom right singing.
That's petrifying. That hand is scary. Oh wow!
I like you got the snake that gave up on its head and was like, just a skull, dude.
There's also this as well. So this is one of their bigger miniatures. Well,
does that come in pieces? Does that, or is that all in one?
No idea. I'm going to look. Here we go. So we go. It's a 3-headed dragon. It's a 7-part multi-resin piece. There we go.
Wow.
1 centimeters in length.
It's a big boy.
That is huge.
Coming out very soon.
For a nice big centerpiece.
Yeah, very much so.
Nice 3-headed dragon.
I like that the heads are all different as well. So you've got the more traditional head, and then you've got the slightly more mutated versions at the same time.
It's kind of like the old meme where you've got the 2 regular heads, and the last one just looks like a bit of a derp.
A bit of a derp. There we go.
They'll all grow up together.
So we've also got this stuff. So also got again a little bit more sort of dungeon diving things. So I'll just take a look at one of these. This one here, this one. So you've got some more dungeon fiends. As you can see, you've got the little hobgoblin and stuff that you've seen in the last one, alongside some of the other sort of spirits and things that you might run into.
That snail, though.
I was just saying this. Yeah, the snail's great.
The paintwork on that shell is gorgeous.
Yeah. I think that's one of the nice things I think about this range in general is that every single one of the pages we've been onto with this, when we're looking through this indie, everyone's been like, "Oh my God, look at that! Oh my God, look at that!" And I think that's something that really indicative of Paul's sculpting style and things that it kind of draws the eye to individual things. I mean, that's
the gelatinous guy. Yeah,
it's like Slimer when he was a bit more hench
during his gym bro phase.
During his gym bro phase.
Well, I mean,
do you even sweat,
his hunter phase before he got a little junky.
And then you've got slightly more weird, manky undead creatures and things like that, as well, which we're going to look at in a second as well. And then this amazing ghost. But nice little troll.
I do like that even though it's traditional sculpts, they're being painted in the modern style.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a really nice thing to kind of like set them off. Were there goblin green bases? I didn't see any goblin green bases. No goblin green bases on these models. So yes, we've also got the undead, as I was sort of mentioning there too. So we've got some really nice characters here. I'll just bring up a few. If you see any that you like, call out.
Mungo up the top.
Mungo. Oh, Mungo. There we go. The undead pint. We got one, John. It's the one that you like.
I love these names.
Yeah.
Hans.
Let's open
Zemina.
And Henrik. Let's look at those then, shall we? Yeah. You got Bill the blacksmith there. Very cool. I like the fact that this is probably like a town that's all just dead.
Yeah. They carried on about their jobs. Kept the town
World of Warcraft.
They're all dead, but they don't actually realize it, so they're just doing their thing.
But the thing I like about these ones in particular is that you could paint them up in I think 3 different ways. You could either paint them as kind of zombies and add loads of blood into the mix, or you could go for that slightly more sort of emaciated, bone-like, sort of almost brittle feel.
Pirates of the Caribbean kind of thing. Yeah. Or
go completely to the other end of the scale and just do them as ghosts and just do them all on that weird ectoplasm look with blues or greens or something.
There's ethereal paints to them.
Yeah, that'd be
Here's yours one, Justin.
Look at Mungo.
Mungo, so he was the guy on the other one, wasn't he? Was he the guy in the pack?
Yeah, so we saw him in the top painted up as well. But yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I like that all the details have sort of been worked into this. So you can see that kind of like twisted, contorted spine coming up the back and everything as well. Really nice. And then the eye popping out of his head. Everyone needs a good eye popping. That's a thing, right? Yeah.
Jethro has boundary issues and he's related to Anger. I love that we're giving a family background of these guys. It's
Let's find Angus then. We didn't bring up Angus. Let's bring Angus up. Where's Angus? Let's find Angus. I can't see Angus. Where's Angus?
Slow down.
Probably on the more. Who are you, Angus?
I'm going slowly now, Justin. It's okay.
I will find you, and I will
Hans,
off to the
Carl,
world.
Franz, Geoffrey.
What? I think maybe we don't.
We're never going to meet.
It looks like it when it went to more products. It looked like it flipped around because there's Mungo.
It did. Mungo's
weird. Anyway, right.
Oddness.
Yeah, but anyway, so there's
Jethro. He's got boundary issues.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of imagine him just going, "You're off my land."
He looks like a hugger.
He looks like a hugger.
Taking boundaries, yeah. It's okay to step over the line, yeah.
So I should also point out, so obviously I haven't really talked about scale yet. I mean, Paul works in all sorts of different scales, but most of these have been done in kind of like 28 to 32 mil. So it's kind of classically, heroically, fantasy proportioned and that kind of thing, which is quite nice. Henrik the Miner there as well.
That's all right. He's armless.
We are puntastic today.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to close a few of these so we can move on. So we also have this thing as well. So we've got the monstrous encounters. So this kind of throws in a few of the sort of slightly weird and wonderful things that they worked on as well. So obviously we've got the dragon there that we've seen before. But you also then have all these little tiny, like weird little sort of creatures on snails, which I think is just fantastic. I mean, you've got these in particular are just like, I want
Cyril, enraged son of Gelatinous Bob. I do love that they've had it embedded a family tree in these guys. It's fantastic.
Yeah. But like, how cool is that guy?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
but is he coming or going?
Just living his best life. Just
you can never know. Yeah. Like, imagine you were putting together a Chaos Army and you were like, who's your champion? Oh, is it that big guy, the massive arm, the massive on the back of that warhorse? No, it's him.
This
little tiny guy.
Comes in slowly on the snail.
I mean, hang on. You've got to watch out for the little ones. They're vicious. They'll be ankle biting you.
Yeah. They'll have your kneecaps.
Well, yeah, my D&D character does that.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like snails as mounts.
I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah. And as they like, a lot of these things have been designed for role playing and stuff, but I think a lot of this stuff in particular works really nicely for those people trying to make sort of Oldhammer style armies. Because a lot of times you can get your hands on a lot of the old plastics and things, but the metals are a little bit harder to find and they're usually a bit pricey. So looking at stuff like this enables you to dive into maybe an old Chaos Army or something a little bit different, maybe Skaven or Undead or something like that, and put together some really interesting forces made up of interesting new models from a creator rather than just having to rely on the old Citadel ones and that kind of thing. So how cool is that?
Gelatinous
He looks so grumpy with his
He's retired, hasn't he? He's done. He's out of the game.
This, I'm drying out.
He's tired. I'm done.
But yeah, I think that's very cool. Yeah. We also have these Chaos Warriors. So this is a slightly more sort of badass, kicking ass style Chaos miniatures and that kind of thing. So let's look at the whole warband. There we go. So that's the whole set of them all together. Again, going for that slightly more sort of old school look and feel to them. I think Paul was saying on kind of like the About Me section of his page, this is the kind of stuff that he loved making when he was younger. And so that's kind of filtered through into sort of what he's been doing now as the sort of range has grown and developed and that kind of thing too. And I think it's really awesome because this kind of gives the appearance of, again, Oldhammer style Chaos Warbands that weren't just made up of like followers of one god. They were made up of all different types of characters that came together and sort of battled for supremacy on the tabletop and things.
I mean, this one set, instant warband for Frostgrave.
Yep. Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. Do a really quirky, weird one. Definitely. That'd be really cool. Yeah. So there's loads of awesome stuff in there. I think this one's pretty nice as well.
Is that a scorpion tail? Or is that coming from that? Yeah. Or is that coming from the sword?
No, that's coming from him.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's coming from his nethers.
Yeah. And you've got that classic sort of bird-headed look to a Zentian sort of warrior with that kind of almost magical crystal sword as well, which I think is really nice.
Very cool.
And then the head of Conan the Barbarian.
I'm all right. It's only a flesh wound.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I just want to bring a few more little bits and pieces here as well before we finish up as well. So as I say, they do a little bit of scenery too. So you've got a couple of extra pieces here. Got that sarcophagus that we saw as part of the Undead collection, which got the little creepy hand opening up the tomb so it can climb out and stuff. I think it's really nice. It's got a little sort of sigil or crest on the side of it as well. But a very nice little piece there. But good for you. Good if you're putting together kind of like an undead scenario in a D&D game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're maybe doing some 7 TV, doing Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Very true. Yeah. You've also got this, which is the evil Totem, which I think is really nice.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so head's been cut off, stuck on the end, no legs, all the blood in the world, and clearly been attacked by something that's a little bit goblinoid, I'd like to think, because of a little tiny bad moon there as well. And he's clutching his last will and testament in his arm there.
I don't know. I imagine he's been in a horrible accident and the goblin just came along and went, sorry, I can fix it.
Are you saying this is a goblin surgery table? Is that
the goblin tried to help, the goblin failed.
Yeah. Yes. And then I couldn't go without talking about this as well. So we have the Dwarf Slayer, the Dwarf Giant Slayer. So
I do like this.
That giant head alone is friggin' fantastic.
That's great.
Never mind
the fact he's got a lip ring in.
Never mind flipping the bird,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's awesome, isn't it?
That's what you imagine Gotrak's like after he's killed someone. It's just like, yeah, got it.
That is the picture of pure job satisfaction.
If your job doesn't make you feel like a dwarf slayer, you're in the wrong job.
You said I couldn't do it.
But yeah, I think that's pretty impressive, especially if, like a little vignette or something if you want to dive into and play around with that. Yeah. Comes with the metal dwarf on the top and then the resin giant's head as well underneath, which I think is, as John was saying there, I think the giant's head in particular is just phenomenal. I think
I want to see the giant before he gets beheaded.
Yeah.
just saying.
Maybe Paul will do that for you. Maybe he'll do that for you. There was another thing I wanted to talk about as well. So we've also got, as I said, Paul does kind of commission sculpts, that kind of thing as well. So he works for a whole bunch of different companies and things. So if you are a company out there that's looking to try and sort of get some miniatures done for a game or something, or you just like the idea of having something commissioned for your own range or something, maybe give Paul a go and see what you think, because he's got a little contact page there for you to dive into and have fun with.
Coolness.
And then there's a nice little about page as well, talking about some of the stuff that Paul's done in the past and the different companies and things that he's worked with and some of the influences.
Wow. He scales all different sizes, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's worked in 6 all the way up until 90mm, which is amazing. So yeah, very
and
cool.
Bigger.
Yeah, I also want to point out as well that recently, so this isn't available at the moment, but Paul, there you go, Paul Smith did, or does a lot of Kickstarters, working on different miniatures and things. This was the latest one that was done. That's going to be fulfilling in July there. So if you're interested in checking out some of these miniatures before they appear on the actual web store itself, then you can check out the Kickstarters and things that Paul does. Which
grim, cool. Isn't it?
So that face in the main body is horrifying.
Yeah.
That's brutally gorgeous, I think would be the best way to say it.
He's asking to be stabbed in the mouth, though, isn't he?
Yeah. But yeah. So if you are interested, head on over to creativesculptstudio.com and have a look at it. Dive into the Dark Hollow miniatures range and have fun with it. And tell us what you pick up from there, because I'd be interested to see what people have been thinking about it. But yeah, very cool stuff there. I said very cool. There we go. I got it in. My meme is complete. So that was Indie of the Week. I hope you enjoyed that one. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to be back to dive into all sorts of amazing tabletop gaming news.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.